in studio with us, we've got Pastor Clive Saunders from Shalom Breakthrough Ministries. And he's no stranger to us. I believe last day he was here with us, he and his wife. And today we are going to take a little taste of his testimony. You know, but he said something to, I want to say a newbie who just got married here from Isaac 98.1 FM, and that is our very own Johan Keynes Douglas. Yes, man, new groom, all in bliss. But Pastor Clive Saunders said this morning that marriage is pleasure and adventure. You work out the rest, because when he said adventure, I know adventure it's wrapped up with all the things in there that sometimes you don't want to deal with, but it's surely an adventure. Good morning to you, Pastor Clive Saunders, married for 31 years, by the way. Nice to have you with us, sir.
Yes, good morning to all the listeners, international and local. Married for 31 years.
31 years. Yeah. How are you able to do that? I know when we hear 31 years, people say, oh gosh, take me there. I want to know what you would. But we do know that marriage is an investment. It's a lot of, I want to say work, not work. It's work, not work. But you know, if you don't put the work into it, you're not going to get anything from it. Pastor, I want you to tell us before we go any further into, your presence being here today, the turning point. Because, for you, where God would have raised you up to really help a lot of couples and persons who are preparing too for marriage. Yeah. That is the ministry that God has blessed you and your wife with. And you too would have gone through your challenges in marriage. Let's talk a little bit about that before. Yeah, because it must have a turning point. What was your turning point? But let's talk about before the turning point. Some of the things that, that you of yourself as a husband that, you recognize that, Saunders boy, you was doing it wrong. You were saying it wrong, Saunders boy. Let's hear.
Well, I would start here. It's 31 years, and yet it seems as 1 year.
Wow.
And, there's a good side to it, but in life there are good and bad, and I could tell you about the good side, but let's talk about the other side to this that we see not. It seems as 1 year because there is still at times when there is misunderstanding.
Yes, I hear you.
And there is still at times when there is agitating passion. Okay. And I remembered when we got married, I took counseling, and we took counseling, and we both believed that we were going everything, we knew everything. This was going to be such a wonderful marriage, and without the misunderstanding. You don't even think about that. And we were going nice until sometime in my marriage, I recognized that Sandra, my wife Sandra, said no. And it was shocking to me. I mean, we're supposed to be yes,
Yeah.
And when she said no to something I said, it
rubbed you the wrong way.
Very much so. And I can't remember what was said, but I left thinking, what's wrong here? I know about compatibility.
Yes.
We share the same likes and dislikes, but something is happening here that I do not know about. And many other things started happening that I did not know about.
How did you respond eventually?
Well, the response at first was, remember, when we come into marriage, when we get married, we have prior knowledge, and prior things stored that we believe is good for our marriages. And it may come from probably, for want of, to be honest, sometimes it's from our parent or from those close to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally the wrong knowledge.
Okay.
So you would know at times end up in an argument or these kind of things. And nothing is wrong with that. But it's now how do we deal with these issues? And I must say this. When we get married, I want to connect with people. It seems as though God has placed somebody in our lives who know how to push all the right buttons to get us agitated.
Oh gosh, somebody listening and is saying, yes, God, come on now, speak through this man, speak through this man.
And it seems as though I say to people, you know what? There are some questions we need to ask ourselves, because there's something called mood. You know, mood is like this, where ladies are moody.
Wait, Pastor. I think it's only women that moody.
Yeah.
I just teasing you, Pastor. It's true. We can be very moody.
Good. Nothing is wrong with that. No, we ought to mature, right? So we are starting somewhere. So moody, no, moody is off and on. But it came at place in my life where there was an anger mode. And there's difference between mood and mode. Remember, buttons are being pressed all the time. That is agitating. So now you are in an angry mode. You are angry all the time. So now, how could you have proper conversations and go on with your marriage when you're angry all the time? And I sat with myself one day and I said, Clive, could you live with yourself? You need, come on, both sides. We need to sit with ourselves. And
yes.
Could I live with myself? And I realized something wrong. Something is wrong.
But you were looking at something is wrong with Clive, or you're looking at something is wrong with Sandra?
Good. Remember what I said. I sat with myself.
So you're dealing with you.
And I realized I cannot live with myself, so how could Sandra live with me? Come on. And we need to sit and evaluate this. What do we want from our spouse? Are we putting too much on our spouse? Or is the problem really me? Because sometimes we put so much on our spouse that it seems as though they just cannot do anything right.
And a lot of expectations and demands.
And what happens is that the problem really and truly in most of our marriages, I'm telling you from 31 years of experience, the problem is me. The problem is not your spouse. It's go back to you.
So deal with you first.
Because the other thing that helped me a lot was this. The Lord said to me, I want you to get a scale and weigh things. And the long time scale, these scale nowadays,
long time scale,
you're balancing on both sides, So you put the weight on one side and you put the things on the other.
Oh Lord.
Okay? So the Lord said to me, he said, you know what? He said, everything Sandra do, put it here for me. Put it on this side. Everything you are agitated about, put it on this side. He said, no. I want you to put something else on the other side. Put for me the value of all my son did for you. Put it on this side and see what outweighs the other.
Wow.
And that has helped me in my marriage.
Wow.
Because I realize now, whoa, this cannot be compared with what God has done for me. And that turned into something. You know what it turned into? Value.
Wow.
And I started, because of God teaching me, and I saw how God valued me, I realized I had to value Sandra.
Wow. That's a powerful teaching there.
Could we, what value have we put? You see, the value we have placed on our spouse is the values of our marriage relationship. If we don't value our spouse, you will never have a marriage relationship. So, people often say to me, Mr. and Bliss. No, I say Miss, Twist, and Bliss.
Pastor, you've just shared you being that person that you were then, and God literally showing you. But it would have taken, as you said, maturity for you to come away a bit and check yourself and start talking to yourself and say, self, could you live with yourself? Now, listen to me. What you said there is something that I would have gone through in my life in terms of saying, a day I sat down and I say, you could handle yourself. And I shame. But I know to tell you the truth is, I couldn't handle myself. I say, I couldn't even live with me. You understand? No, it's a serious thing. So when you're saying that, I know it is the truth. You have to start dealing with yourself. And dealing with that, it brought a difference. Seriously, a difference. Now we know every marriage, there are challenges. I want you just to touch on this a little bit. I just want you to touch on it because we have much more to talk about. Touch on this very quickly. On Monday, we had Wendell and we were talking about somebody had called in and said, I was taught that you put away a lick or something. I ain't saying little, a lick or something. You put it in the corner there. The husband don't need to know. In case of the rainy day, you pull it out. Now, in that context, we know how that was used in that context long time. Do let him know. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll tell you something about that. The wise thing is that we need to save. But when we start talking about hiding things from our spouse for a rainy day, what is the rainy day we are thinking about? Sickness and disease? That might just, that money would not be enough. But I want to say something greater than that. Remember, when we speak words, they are either curses or blessing. I am not saving for a rainy day. I am saving because God said you have to be wise and save.
Yes.
And I cannot hide, or my wife cannot have an account hidden from me, because anything that is hidden would come to light. When that comes to light, it starts to affect our trust.
Yes.
What else are you hiding from me? And now it starts to rub wrong in our relationship, because how I could trust you when you are hiding things from me.
I have a next thing for you. There's a touch, there's a tease for you, because something coming up after this whole tease, right? But it's a serious issue. The next thing, I'm teaching you how to cook. So when you go into the house, the woman can't make no woman can't make no style on it. The car boss no style. I'm teaching you how to cook, clean and wash. Talk to us about that.
Well, both of them would end up into what we will call war, because anytime we start thinking along these lines, it ends up in a war. When you are teaching your son to cook, teach him to help his spouse. Not for at some time they have a misunderstanding, and the the wife says, you see this, I'm not going to cook. And you did know, the son will come up and say, yes, that is why my mother taught me. So a woman like you hear you address your wife.
And we have these situations going on,
So woman like you, Cabo style on me. You sure that is the value, your proper value you are giving to your wife? And no, these things happen because, you know what I call these things? We get married and we never realize there are baggages in our lives that will bring our marriage down. These are part of the baggages.
Well, here's what. I know that you have a school of marriage that's coming up, and I want us to take a minute before you wrap up here this morning. First, I want you to give the number, because usually we give the number last and people, bolting through. So give your number. I want you to give your number and your wife's number too for registration for this, because I know this coming up and you want, it's something that you really want married couples to come out to a school of marriage.
And those who are going to get married. And it will be at your church, right? And you will give the details on that. I haven't gotten that together. But it will be 4 Fridays in next month, which is the 7th of June, the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th of June at your, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the thing about it is, when God spoke to us this year, and something is staying. School of marriage. Why school? Well, we go to school and we learn different things. But when it comes to marriage, we believe we know. And I saw a guy got into problem because he believed he knew how to fly aircraft. He went into one. But when you get trained, hear what knowledge does. Knowledge causes us to be confident. Knowledge gives us power. Knowledge causes us to win. I'm speaking about the right knowledge. And we have despised knowledge when it has come to marriage. We will go and learn everything else in classes. But when it comes to marriage, we know. But do we really know?
Yeah.
So what we need knowledge. So we have this coming up, the conference, understanding differences. Because I want you to know something. If you had spoken to me years ago, I would have told you all that is giving me problem in my marriage. It's the difference that was giving me problem. But difference, I want to close with this. Difference, God said to me, is not enemy. It mightn't sound like proper English, but difference is symphony. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Listen to me. You have to get on board the School of Marriage. I'm going to give your numbers.
The number, okay.
Right? So you go ahead.
3527539. 3527539. Clive Saunders. And Sandra is 3680638. 3580638. 3580638.
I don't want you to forget the wife number, because it's harmony we want here.
Watch me. Let me tell you something. When you now started, that would be a problem. When you are 31 years, you laugh at things. Harmony.
Thank you so much, Pastor Clive Saunders. And if you want to be a part of School of Marriage, it's free. Yeah. It's free. He's doing this is what the Lord has placed upon his heart. Call the numbers 352-7539 or 358-0638 and get registered today. Regarding room space is important, and we'll be talking more about this.
Give your church number too, please.
Yes. Well, I'm giving your numbers, so let them go directly to you first, and then we will take it from there, because your numbers are important for you to take that, the registration down. So 352-7539 and 358-0638. Folks, keep your dial where it is. Madonna is up next. Have a wonderful and blessed day. And as Pastor says, marriage, there are two things: it's pleasure and adventure. Enjoy the adventure. And if you want to learn how to enjoy the adventure, come be a part of the School of Marriage. Have a blessed and wonderful day, people.